Captain America: The Winter Soldier. If you've never seen this movie before, I highly suggest watching it. It was definitely one of the better Marvel movies I've watched in a while, especially in the Captain America series of movies. But anyway, in the film, Captain America, also known as Steve Rogers, struggles to adapt to the modern world while working as a sleeper agent for S.H.I.E.L.D., alongside Black Widow, also known as Natasha Romanoff. When S.H.I.E.L.D. is compromised by a shadowy organization known as Hydra, Rogers becomes a fugitive, unearthing a conspiracy that threatens global security. He also confronts a formidable enemy, the Winter Soldier, who turns out to be his old best friend Bucky Barnes, brainwashed and transformed into a deadly assassin. With the help of Black Widow and his new ally Sam Wilson, Captain America seeks to expose the truth behind Hydra's infiltration and save the world from their sinister plans. Now, as cool as all that sounds, this video is not about the inner workings of the characters and plot. Rather, I want to showcase a specific clip from the movie and analyze the legitimacy of the physics, to determine if what's shown on screen is actually plausible. In the film, Captain America and Black Widow have to infiltrate a ship that's been overrun by pirates. They do this by jumping out of an aircraft over the vessel. While Black Widow opts to use a parachute, Captain America takes the opposite route and jumps without one to splash into the water feet first. I'll play the clip now so you can really visualize what we were talking about here.
Secure channel 7.
7 secure. Did you do anything fun Saturday night?
Well, all the guys from my barbershop quartet are dead, so no, not really.
Coming up on the drop zone, Cap.
You know, if you ask Kristen out from statistics, she'd probably say yes.
That's why I don't ask.
Too shy or too scared?
Too busy.
Is he wearing a parachute?
No.
No, he wasn't.
Now, having seen the clip, you can probably determine what we're going to be discussing here. My biggest concern has to deal with the legitimacy of the drop height. Namely, is the time it takes Steve to fall accurate or not? So, to determine this, we first need to find the height of the aircraft relative to sea level. Now, we don't get a direct altitude portrayed to the audience, but we can make a pretty accurate guess based on what we see in the film. To start, we get a set of coordinates for where they are earlier in the film, and when searching these coordinates on Google Earth, we get put right about here, off the coast of India, around 45 miles offshore. This will become more important later, but for now let's do some quick physics to get some baseline numbers. Using this equation, we can get a rough estimate for the height the aircraft is at when he jumps. We have the acceleration due to gravity at 9.8 meters per second squared, and the v0 because he isn't moving at any speed in the y direction when he jumps, so this will be 0. Now let's watch the clip back and determine the time it takes Steve to hit the water.
Too busy.
Is he wearing a parachute?
No.
No, he wasn't.
Now back to the screen, we can plug in our time around 13.6 seconds. And by plugging in all the numbers into Wolfram, we get a height of about 900 meters, which is roughly 2,700 feet. And for the sake of simplicity, let's round to 3,000 feet. Now this number might sound accurate, however, that isn't the case. To prove this, we have to look closely at the clip in the beginning. If you see here, Steve jumps out of the aircraft while flying through clouds. What does this mean, you might ask? Well, remember that this scene takes place near India and during the spring months like April through June. For simplicity, let's say May. With that, we can find common weather patterns in India around this time of year. That is important because the time of year can affect the average altitude at which clouds form at. According to Britannica, in May, the average altitude of a cloud is generally considered to be around 2,500 meters or 8,200 feet, which is around 2.5 times higher than what we calculated. Now you might say, what about fog or just a low-flying cloud? Well, according to that same study stated earlier, clouds below the 2,500 meter height occur at about 5% of the time in this part of the year. So from this data, I can conclude that it is more probable than not that the jump we see in the movie is not plausible.